Hi everybody! Today is a bit of a longer video because I am making creepy Christmas presents for people I know. You can either follow along with me or crack open an overpriced soda, sit back, and watch. You should probably cover up your work surface so it won't be messy, and even if you do that, it'll still be messy. So you will start by preparing what I like to call the batter. Start by adding flour, water, and glue or Mod Podge in a bowl.
Too much!
Stir it up until you can get all the chunks out. This project is meant to be done with stuff you have at home, so if there's something you don't have, just feel free to adapt the project to your liking. Go back and forth adding a bit of this, bit of that. In the end, it should come out to the texture of thin pancake batter. Next, take some scrap paper that's been lying in your room for over a year. Rip your paper up into strips. I did that size, but whatever works for you. When you're done with that, set it aside and get a container of some sort. This will be your base or what you're going to paper mache on. I used a jar, but you could use anything that's available to you. You could even make your base if you want. It doesn't have to be neat because you're going to paper mache over it. I cut some details out of a can and stuck them on the jar. That was going to be the basic armature for the cat ears I'm going to add. If you're wondering, it was going to be a cat pencil holder type of thing. Now take your base, your paper strips, and your batter. You're going to dip your strips into the batter and coat them. Use your fingers to get any excess off. And do not spill a bunch like I just did.
No!
You're going to lay it on your base and smooth it out. Cover the entire thing with the paper strips dipped in the batter. You can also use wrapping paper scraps as paper strips. This project is a good excuse to get rid of any scrap paper you might have lying around. It was either that or burn it. I'm making sure to get the inside of the jar too, so it's the same texture as the rest of it. Once I'm happy with the first layer, I set it aside to dry. I may or may not have mixed up way too much of the batter, so I made some mini ones out of some sparkling water cans. I may have had some extra batter and made too much, so I could have made maybe just a few more mini ones. An aspect of this I found really cool is that you can sculpt 3D things on it, so that's fun. Yeah, they all need to dry. The next day, I mix up some more batter and add on a second layer. Now that my pieces are mostly dry, I'm going to add a second layer to smooth everything out and kind of seal all the rough parts in. So I'm going to show you how to make eyes and 3D bits on the paper mache sculptures. First, start by taking some paper and crumpling it up into a little ball. This is the people, so keep the size of how big you want the people to be in mind. Using your flour and water solution, do your best to stick it on. Next, I'm taking some paper, dipping it in the solution, and putting it over the orbs to seal it in. So I sealed each one in, making sure they were about equal. Take a piece of paper and kind of mold it into an eyelid-like shape by just folding it and yeah. You're going to take it and you're going to lay it atop the eye, overlapping some of it, and add paper strips on top to kind of blend it in with the rest of the sculpture. Do the same thing for the lower eyelid and mold it depending on what type of shape you want for the eye. Not much of a wrong way to do this, and with enough blending it should look good in the end. As you can see, it's a lot of back and forth between shaping and blending. And of course, do the same thing with the other eye, making sure it's as symmetrical as possible, if that's what you're going for. I debated over giving this piece a mouth or not, but I decided not to. And apparently I hadn't learned my lesson the first time, and I mixed up too much batter again, so I proceeded to make another. I gave it a frog mouth because I wanted to make it into a frog. Mod Podge to smooth it out. This step is not necessary, or you could just keep it like this if you like the texture. This also helps seal in any rough bits. Now, this may look like it didn't take a long time, but it really did, so if you're looking for an involved project, then this is the one for you. Of course, this is optional. You could also substitute Mod Podge for glue. I'm sorry some of the camera shots are weird. I never said I was good at filming. Next, I'm going to add a base coat of white paint. Very, very cheap and transparent white paint. I'm coating the inside too, which always had a harder time drying than the outside. I'm also doing that to some of the smaller pieces. A lot of them I didn't complete and I don't really have a straightforward plan for them. Once that's dry, I'm going to add a bit of shading around the eyelids just to give them some dimension. The logic I went by was, the eyelid is raised so it's a lighter surface, so around it must be shaded. I also made the eyes purple. It is looking quite messy right now, so I'm sorry you have to see this. You know where you have like good art days and bad art days? Well, today I'm having kind of a bad art day, so I'm going to probably come back to this tomorrow. Now I'm going to add a few details with some color. This is where I redid the eyes, because earlier they were not really that good. I also shaded in the waterline and the inside of the upper eyelid. I was aiming to make the features seem a bit more 3D. The lighting's a bit weird because I decide to work on this whenever I want to. Could be in the afternoon or it could be late at night. It's always a lot of back and forth. Off camera I did add a few details because I had to get a weird angle, but now I'm going to put on the final coat of varnish. This will seal it all in and make sure none of the paint chips off. I also like it because it is very, very shiny. Also, if you have any video suggestions or ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments. Now, time to let it dry. This is the final piece. I'm actually quite happy with the way it turned out, probably only because I put so much work into it. Here are some lovely shots in front of a random Christmas tree. Picture this. You're walking down the hall and you see this in the Christmas tree. How lovely. That's about it. I'm not showing any of the smaller ones because I didn't get to finish them. I might in the future. I'm hoping to get another Christmas themed video out before Christmas, so keep your eye out for that. Bye!